In the previous chapter, we saw a drunkard interrupt Zhuo Fan and mock the manor's rule. To Zhuo Fan's surprise, the man revealed that he was once part of Double Dragon Manor, but no longer belonged to it. Let's begin the chapter. Zhuo Fan's mind raced. Not anymore. Is he an exiled disciple? But how did he even get in? Any self-respecting sect would have warned against their exiles, especially Double Dragon Manor. Questions hammered at him. The drunkard chuckled, a deep, booming laugh. Ha ha ha. They can try all they like to keep me out. But unfortunately, where I want to go, no one in the world can stop me. Humph, Zhuo Fan thought. Cocky. Zhuo Fan's body went rigid, a flicker of respect mixed with wariness. At best, he thought, those are the words of a hero. At worst, a criminal. Wait, a sudden realization hit him. Hey, why does that sound so familiar? It sounds oddly similar to me. The old man and I are so alike. Yongning, her voice tinged with a hint of fear, asked, Zhuo Fan, who is this? He's weird. The drunkard offered a thin smile. Lighten up. You've given me wine, and I find you to my liking, so I won't be hard on you. Ha ha ha. I'm not one to pick on girls. Yet his mere presence sent shivers of fear down the girl's spines. He chuckled, a knowing glint in his eyes. Tianyu's princess, I presume. Ha ha ha, I heard what happened to your empire, and what you said, so it's probably true. Tell me, do you think your father was right? Yun Yongning paused, her voice firm. He may be my father, but he sold out his nation. He's no different than letting evil in. Ha ha ha, what a just princess! The drunkard laughed. What then if he only ceded the land while no soldiers came in? Zhuo Fan hesitated. Isn't that the same? No, of course not. The drunkard. He shook his head, his voice taking on a sharper edge. An enemy invasion means pillaging and slaughter, while ceding land avoids such cruelties. Nevertheless, the land is the royal family's, and the common man has not one stake in it. Regardless of the master, the common people will still be worked to the bones for their lords, so what's the difference? Win or lose, the populace suffers all the same. That being said, Double Dragon Manor, the sect, and even empires, all they're doing is raising cattle, so they can suck the blood and marrow from their weary bodies. Zhuo Fan pondered this, his mind working through the implications. Double Dragon Manor offers stability to the Western land's powers and guarantees growth. A stroke of genius, one might say. Won't letting the Western lands grow weaker draw? Invaders in? The fate of the people then would be far worse. Bullshit, the drunkard spat. He sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. Nothing but a goddamn excuse. They're only after guarding the sacred mines, a cultivator's interests, not giving a single lick about some weary nobodies. Let's say the central area invades, you think they'd go after the people, the ant? No, all they care about is taking the resources, and they need these ants to mine the stuff just like Double Dragon Manor does. The girls were visibly shocked by his words. The drunkard caught himself, flicking his hand dismissively. Sorry, I forgot myself. Every time I talk about this, I get riled up. I used to be just like you, thinking the best of the Western lands, with hardly any heavy conflicts, filled with peace and prosperity, and then it all changed from one meeting. A woman? Yongning's eyes lit up with curiosity. The drunkard exclaimed, Girl, how did you know? Isn't it obvious? Only a woman can change a man, Yongning declared, puffing out her chest proudly. The drunkard smiled, amused. You girls sure know a lot. Just how many did you change? I'm innocent. I didn't change one, she quickly replied, sneaking a glance at Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan sighed. Senior, just ignore her. She has her head in the clouds from too many perfect match stories. Perfect match? Ha ha ha, sometimes that isn't far from reality either. The drunkard sighed, his voice softening as he retreated into his memories. I used to be Young man with dignity and elegance traveling the world. But after meeting her one time too many, that foolishly naive princess trapped me in the secular world. I found her the most pitifully foolish girl. A princess, fond of walking among her people, falling for the most obvious scams, yet never regretting it. Zhuo Fan muttered, "Senior, such a dopey girl, oblivious to the dangers of human society, will one day die from it. If I were you, I'd cut all ties with her so I'd not fall as well." "What's my intention to you anyway?" The drunkard. His face softened further, his tone becoming gentle. "Women are like water. Men sometimes need them by their side to comfort them. Though on many occasions, her naive and foolish attitude drove me up the walls and got me in so much trouble. Thinking about it, none of it mattered. It's not my fault I was awesome, wishing to take her burden." "We're really on the same side, aren't we?" Zhuo Fan thought with a strange sense of kinship. The drunkard's face twisted with anger, his voice laced with a bitter edge. But then I realized even all my power had reached its limit. I wanted to fight those scheming geezers so much, yet I was unable to. His eyes flashed with bloodthirst, the memory clearly painful. That year, their neighboring kingdom attacked her homeland. The sect in charge of its well-being saw the lands were safe and ignored them, leaving the people at the border to suffer. She was plagued with worry for them. I even defied Double Dragon Manor's rule in not interfering many times, only to be accused by the enemy and forced back to the sect to receive my punishment. But I didn't expect our separation would be final.